Okay, so hi David. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. I've been following you a little bit. I kind of get an idea. I know what you've been doing, but not everybody does. So can you just please tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, and we'll go from there.
All right. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. Yes, my name is Daveia Odoi, and I am an illustrator and branding designer. I'm the owner of D&T Dynamite Design, which offers custom branding and illustration services to businesses and individuals looking for my services. And I'm also the owner of the Dynasmiles by D&T, which is my happy artwork found on fun products like t-shirts, mugs, and our most popular product, our phone cases. And basically whatever I could put my art on, I do. And that's
That's it,
pretty much the gist
monetizing,
of it.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much for that. Okay, so let's just kind of get right into the interview and then we'll kind of talk about how people can reach you and get to your contact page later. How long have you been in business?
Oh, okay. I've been in business officially been in business since 2008. That's when
Okay.
we went downtown to City Hall and registered the business, made it official on paper. But I've been designing for as long as I can remember.
Okay, all right. So it sounds like you're saying you had an idea, you knew that you wanted to do business, you had the talent, you've been kind of toying with it before
Mm-hmm.
for some time, and then I'm assuming your first step was actually going downtown and registering. Was that a difficult process to do?
No, it wasn't a difficult process. Before that, I want to say that wasn't my first step. There was a lot of other things prior to that. That was my first official step.
Okay.
But before going downtown, before registering the business, I made sure that I had a viable business, meaning I made sure I had something that others wanted and was willing to pay for.
Okay.
So once, as a designer, most designers will take on a freelance project here and there. So I've
Right.
freelanced for a while. And in 2008, that was the same year I graduated from grad school.
Okay.
And it was one of those things where I said, you know what? I knew I wasn't going back to school for the
Right.
time being. And so I had to take my career, my future seriously.
Okay.
So going downtown and registering the business was the logical step in what I was always already doing as far as providing custom services to others, having people say, I like what you do.
Right.
Here's $100, here's $50. Can you do that for me?
Right. Right.
So that was the first official step.
So those things, those $100, $50, oh, wow, that looks good. Those were things that helped you to realize that there was something there and
Mm-hmm.
that you would like to pursue it. And let's kind of go back to something you said about going downtown to register. Was that a difficult process? Was it scary? Well, how did you go through those steps?
Was it difficult? Was it scary? I want to say no. I want to say no. Back in 2008, we still had the internet
Ah,
and we
hallelujah! Thank
still
God.
had, resources available. So I did my homework.
Okay.
I did due diligence. I looked into what I had to do
Right.
to register this business. And that's just me. I've always, looked into things, looked into information.
Which is a smart
Um,
thing to do.
yeah, I'm a go-getter, meaning if there's something out there that I want, I look it up. I say, okay, how can I get this? Other people might find it intimidating, so I don't want to generalize it too much.
Right.
It definitely wasn't an impossible task.
Okay.
I do think anyone can do it. Some
Right.
people like things handed to them and others will work for it. And that's just one of
Okay.
those things where you can have someone do it for you. There's professionals who will help you register a business or you
Okay.
can do it yourself. So for me, I went on Google. Google was around back then.
Hey,
I
we
went
get
on
it.
Google. I looked up that there were resources for my state.
Right.
So I focused on New Jersey. I'm from New Jersey. So I focused on resources for my state and found out that to register my business, I had to go to my city hall. I'm not sure
Right.
what it takes right now in present day, but
Okay.
back
Different
then,
states.
right. I think in present day, you can do a lot of this online.
Online. Right.
registering. But back then, I went in person, registered it. So I looked into the information, saw what I had to do, and went for it.
Okay. So you said something about that. Some people are not go-getters, and sometimes it might be scary. Would you say that, whatever the idea is, whatever the dream, the goal, the aspiration is, at least that first step, regardless of how big it looks, can be broken down to just that very simple thing, which is find out what it takes to actually become legal or to get a license. And then you can back up and say, okay, so this is what it takes. Do I have everything that I need? Do I not have it? What's missing?
Right.
And then just take that next step to get what's missing. And then after that, you check again, and then you add on to it and keep going. Would that make sense?
Yes, it would. Break things down. That's how you accomplish a goal. You break down the task, see what's involved, set a deadline, set a goal to achieve, to aspire to.
Set a deadline.
Yeah, and you step towards it. Now, for my profession as a graphic designer and illustrator, I did not require certain things that maybe someone who's, selling cookies or selling food, there's certain permits that you have to have. So the hurdles weren't as many for me specifically, but the same applies where you look into what it is that's needed for your service or for your product that you want to sell to others. Do you need a license? Do you need FDA approval? Do you need lawyers to look over contracts if you have a brick and mortar? Do you need to make sure the building is code compliant? So look into what is needed for your specific industry, for your specific business. Write those things down and, tackle it one by one. Check it off the list.
Okay, cool. Now, one more question. Would you say it is advisable, if somebody is not sure how to get certain things started, to perhaps talk to somebody who has taken those steps before?
You mean a mentor?
Yeah, it could be a mentor.
Yes.
Or a friend, or whoever, relative, cousin.
Yes. After doing business for some time now, I do understand the value of a good mentor. Okay. So definitely seek out those who have gone before you, an expert. I like to say that an expert is just someone who's further down the same road that you're on.
Could save you some steps.
Yeah, they could save you some steps. They started somewhere. They had to start somewhere. Right. Maybe they went through it alone. Maybe they had their own mentors. But you're accessing knowledge that you would not have any other way. You're also saving yourself a lot of time. Yeah. You're saving yourself a lot of money, a lot of headaches. Yes, it may require an investment. Certain mentors require a certain investment. But in the long run, it'll save you. Because another thing that I learned is that we pay for what we don't know.
Yeah.
True. Whether it's a mistake, whether it's having to get a degree. Right. But you're paying for what you don't know. Okay. So yes, reaching out to someone who knows or who has been down the road before you, who knows their stuff. And yes, talk to them, apply to them. Reach out to them. A lot of people, this is another thing I think is a misconception. A lot of people in the beginning stages, they think that those ahead of them won't help, and that's not true. It's all about how you approach the person. Definitely be genuine about it, form a relationship, build towards it. But yes, reach out and get the help that you need so that you could avoid the pitfalls that they ran into themselves.
Right, and I'm a big believer in even volunteering. So if it's, I would always say, if it's an industry that requires a little bit more work to get into, how about you just go and volunteer at a company that's already doing it? Mm-hmm. That way you have a foot in the door, you have access to the resources that they have. Right. And you know what? In exchange for working for free or being the gopher or whatever, you get access to the knowledge and you get to ask questions, you get to learn, you get to see how this thing is done in real life, and then you take that information and apply it to those first steps into that it requires to get into your your goal and achieve your dreams. All right,
Yeah,
thank
I
you
agree.
so much for that. All right, looking at the time, I think we'll wrap it up now. But before we go, can you please tell everybody how they can reach you and maybe follow you, social media, use your services, please?
Sure. Okay, so my name is Daveia Odoi. That's Daveiaodoi. You can find me at daveiaodoi.com, where you could access my brain if you want to seek me out as a mentor. My business is D&T Dynamite Design, which offers professional branding and illustration services, can be found at dntdynamite.com. And lastly, my products, which are the t-shirts and phone cases and mugs that I sell, can be found at
And
thedynasmiles.com.
stickers.
And
I've seen
stickers,
them.
yep.
Yep.
And the Dynasmiles, that's the brand that we have a social media presence under. So if you're looking for us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, follow us at the Dynasmiles. That's Thedynasmiles. The Dynasmiles.
Okay, thank you very much. Now you pushed your Dynasmiles a little bit more. What about your D&T Dynamite section? Are there any things that you would like to say about that you do?
Well, for D&T, that is a business to business
Okay.
service
who
that we
already have
offer.
their
So
own
if you
business.
right, so if you have your own business and you're looking to improve your visual branding could consist of your logo, your website, your product, how it's presented, especially if you are on a store shelf and you want your product to stand out from the crowd. Reach out to
Right.
us. I can help you.
All right. Thank you very much,
Oh,
Davia,
thank
for
you.
taking the time and helping us, giving us some tips. All right, guys. So this is inspiration